What's going on, guys? Ribombees Teacher Nelson. Welcome back to the LGL, week number 1. Bournemouth Ribombees are taking on the Fusion Fishious and Coach Nougat Boy in an epic week 1 matchup. This is going to be a very interesting team because Nougat Boy has got a very physically biased team, but it could potentially have some surprise special attackers, and we'll talk about that as and when we get to them. But we'll break down his team and then we'll talk about what I brought and why I've brought it, because I've got a pretty fun little team to start off with. But looking at his team, first up, of course, is his Poniard. Poniard is one of the best mons in Little Cup format. Very, very solid rock setter. Could also be a sword stand sweeper. I expect him to probably bring it with a Violite because it doesn't really live a lot of hits. Also, a lot of my mons on my team have coverage fighting moves, like Grookey with Drain Punch, for example. So I expect him to be a Violite with Defiant, maybe. Could be a Pressure Stall, I guess. But probably things like Knock Off, Iron Head, Sucker Punch. Pretty much the main 3 established moves that Poniard gets. And either rocks or sword stands, whichever one he prefers. Probably rocks, if I had to guess. He doesn't have that many rock setters on his team, but he could have quite easily run SD. Next up is his Caravano, which I think can be physical or special. It's got a very serviceable special attack stat. Obviously, its physical attack stat is its most incredible stat. It's also a speed booster. It could be a good life orb option for him as a solid cleaner. I could see it running physical with moves like Liquidation, Crunch, Psychic Fangs, potentially Ice Fang for things like Gibble or Grookey, and things like Protect. Could also run Aqua Jet as well. But I could also potentially see a special set with Protect Speed Boost, of course, with Hydro Pump, Dark Pulse, and Ice Beam, mostly for Gibble. I could definitely see that kind of thing coming. It could be either or, but I do expect it to be a life orb set nonetheless, in general. Cubone, as limiting as Cubone is, and it kind of is limiting by virtue of the fact that it needs its Thick Club to do any meaningful damage. Battle Armor is a nice ability for it, preventing crits, and Boomerang is a phenomenal move in Little Cup. Actually being able to hit twice, so Sturdies or Focus Ashes are kind of irrelevant. It gets nice moves like Knock Off and Rock Slide, and Fire Punch as well, which could be really good for Grookey. So, I could see Cubone coming. Could also be a rock setter, I guess, but I feel like he's more likely to bring it offensive. It's a pretty good wall breaker in general, but it's very slow and very specially frail, so it is kind of punishable by Wingull. So that might be the stumbling block to bring it. Litwick is probably one of his better special attackers on this team, but I don't feel like it can afford to be like super offensive. It's a decent trickery mon, especially with access to a Violite, and it also gets a nice pair in Flame Body for an ability and Will-O-Wisp as a move. Could definitely spread burns around. Definitely don't really like that on Grookey, for example, but it is possible. Gets Trick Room, as I mentioned, which could be his core strategy, but Trick Room is kind of bad in Little Cup from what I understand. And Memento and Pain Split are options. Pain Split's kind of nice. He is likely to take a hit. And obviously with the Violite, he could potentially heal up. Memento is nice for actually setting up for a Trick Room sweep. So he could bring that, especially with how slow his team is in general. Next up is his Oddish. Oddish is one of his better special attackers. It's actually got a very solid special attack stat. It's a little slow, however, and kind of hampered by the fact that it can't run Chlorophyll because Chlorophyll is banned. So its only ability that it's allowed to run is Runaway, which is useless in competitive, so it doesn't actually do anything. But does get decent dual stabs in Giga Drain and Sludge Bomb, but also gets the unique pairing of Sleep Powder and Strength Zap. That could definitely cause a lot of issues, especially on physical offensive teams. Strength Sap is a very, very annoying move that could definitely restore its health. Sleep Powder is annoying, but obviously Sleep Claws exist in Smogon, so not the worst deal in the world. But yeah, definitely something you need to play around. Next up is Grubbin. Grubbin actually got Sticky Webs this generation. In Gen 7, when it was first released, it didn't actually get Sticky Webs, only its evolutions got it. But nonetheless, its stats are very lackluster in comparison to a lot of mons in the format. But it does get a lot of speed control moves. It does get Sticky Web, does get Electro Web, and does get Mudshot. So I could definitely see all 3 of those coming to definitely cover as much of my speeds as possible. My team is much faster than his in general. Does also get a pivoting move in Volt Switch, so could definitely be a decent pivot, but I largely expect it to be a Sash Web setter, and that's pretty much it. I don't really think it's going to do much else. Next up is Igglybuff. Igglybuff, I wish it had better stats outside of its HP stat. It's a pretty lackluster mon otherwise, but definitely in a Violite Wish Protect user in general. It does get competitive, but it doesn't have the stats to really back it up. It does get Fire Blast to hit Steel types, but honestly it just doesn't do much damage even after +1. And Hyper Voice is pretty much its best normal stab, but it doesn't really do much. and stuff like that. I don't see Ugly Buff coming, but if it does, I have plenty of answers for it. Next up is Shinx. Shinx is another pivoting mon in general. Actually a pretty interesting one because it can cripple physical attackers pretty nicely thanks to the fact it has Intimidate. It does get Berry Juice as well. Does use Berry Juice most commonly from what I've seen instead of a Violet. But it does get pivoting moves like Volt Switch. Does get damaging moves like Wild Charge, which does hit really hard. Also gets the move Thief, which is a nice put your teeth in. Nice move in Little Cup format because you can actually steal your opponent's item after using the Berry Juice. And it does get the Elemental Fangs for coverage moves as well. I'd imagine if he does bring an Elemental Fang coverage move, he probably brings Ice Fang because it hits my Grookey, it hits things like my Gibble a little bit better. Fire Fang, yes, it hits Grookey, but it does nothing to Gibble, and various things like that. It does very little to Munchlax. Ice Fang doesn't really do that much either, but we'll see. I think, honestly, against my team, probably Ice Fang is the best one. Next up on his team is Lillipup. Actually a decent physically offensive mon. It's got a decent speed tier and a very solid physical attack stat. Unfortunately, that's pretty much where it ends for Lillipup. It's not particularly bulky. Doesn't really have any good abilities all that much. Its best ability is Vital Spirit, which prevents it getting sleeped, but that's about it. Does get a few decent coverage moves. Does get access to Play Rough, which is nice for fighting types, and also for Gibble. Does get the Elemental Fangs, I believe, except Ice Fang. I can't remember. Does also get Thunder Wave for speed control as well. Speed control is probably going to be pretty important for him in this match, but I could see it being a Violet, like Vital Spirit Hitmon. Probably 4 attacks or maybe 3 attacks T-Wave, something like that. That's pretty much all I can expect. Next up is his Pancham. Pancham can be one of two things. It can be a Sword Stand Sweeper, or it can be like a Parting Shot Pivot. But I expect him to have a similar move pool either way. I expect him to run Iron Fist, could run Mold Breaker. Scrappy I don't think is actually all that good in Little Cup. But I could see him running things like Parting Shot or Sword Stands combined with things like Drain Punch, Elemental Punch, and Knockoff. I think that would probably be what I would run if I was him with Pancham. Definitely a potential Violet mon though. The problem is, most of his mons really need a Violet to function pretty well, and because of the item clause where only 2 Pokemon can hold it, I think he might have a bit of a hard time prepping his team. But going on to the next one is a mon that actually got buffed and doesn't necessarily need a Violet now, is Archon. Archon with Heavy Duty Boots is actually kind of nice. I could definitely see like a more utility styled Archon. I don't think he can afford to run this thing offensively. This is basically his only defogger. So he pretty much needs this to be more of a utility style. I could see this being heavy duty boost with the only ability that gets us Defeatist. I could see like the defog roost and maybe dual stab like Rock Slide and Acrobatics, but it's potentially being the play. I don't really think he can afford to run anything else. I've tested out against a friend of mine who also plays a fair bit of Little Cup, and this is pretty much the only set that he's found viable. He's tried to run more offensive sets and it's not worked out, so yeah, I think this is probably his best set if he chooses to bring Archon. Archon is the fastest thing on his team in terms of base speed, so I do expect it to come, because it's one of the few things that does outspeed my Grookey, for example. So I do expect it to come, but we'll see. And last but by no means least is his Bergmite, which kind of has a bit of an item problem. You know, it can run heavy duty boots pretty nicely and be a solid spinner. Can run sturdy Berry Juice, of course, which is what it's typically known for before this gen. Could also potentially be an Violet user as well. So it's got a lot of problems with its item. So that could be an issue for Nougat Boy in prep for this game. But I do expect it to be a sturdy mon either way. It is a spinner. Does get Rapid Spin. Does also get Recover, which is nice for it. Avalanche is probably his move of choice for Stab because he doesn't really get much else. That's pretty decent for Ice Stab. Plus, Bergmite being really slow, obviously the negative priority is not really going to matter because he's going to be moving last anyway. And his last move could be Toxic, I guess. Could be Mirror Coat as well, especially for special offensive mons. Bergmite is very frail on the special side, so will probably go down to 1 HP pretty easily, especially if it's not in a Violet. So could use Mirror Coat as a strat to be able to knock out one of my more specially offensive mons. Could definitely see that being a thing, but we shall see. But that's his team. Let's talk about mine, shall we? So you can probably guess the first mon on the team already because the stats are on the screen. But first up on the team is going to be Grookey. It's going to be called Monkey because that's what I was calling it throughout the whole of the draft, so why the hell not? We're running a Violet this week. I thought about running Life Orb, but I didn't actually need the extra damage. So We're just running 4 attacks, basically. U-turn, of course, for pivoting. Drain Punch is great for Pawniard. Actually can OHKO it, even without the Life Orb damage. Grassy Glide is amazing for priority, also good for revenge killing. And Knockoff is especially nice for Litwick, but can also be really good against Cubone and stuff like that, because getting rid of its Thick Club is going to be the key to preventing it from doing too much damage. But yeah, this thing is a very, very solid utility mon. Doesn't necessarily do much to Oddish, doesn't really do much to Grubbin, but I don't really need it to, because I have other mons on my team that can deal with those, so we're not the biggest fans of those. Obviously, Archon is a problem as well, but Grassy Glide can actually 2-hit KO it, so I'm not really that concerned. But yeah, this is a very, very solid mon. This is the best way I have to break through his team, largely. Grassy Glide is phenomenal against Caravana because of the priority. Yes, Caravana does get Aqua Jet, but it barely touches Grookey, so we'll see how well this works. But I think Grookey is by far and away my best matchup, and it's one of the strongest mons in the format for a reason. Alright, next up, paired up with Grookey is going to be Wengo. Now, going to be called Speedy Burb pretty much throughout the tournament, as it is one of the fastest mons in the format. Scald Hurricane Air Slash is incredible against this team. It hits pretty much everything comfortable. Hurricane is obviously if I need the extra damage, especially for things like the Oddish. Air Slash is nice if I don't necessarily need the chance to miss. And Defog, of course, always nice to have access to utility. He does have a couple of Rock Setters and a Web Setter, of course, so just being able to defog away those hazards just in case they become a problem. Definitely worth having. Scald is probably going to be my main move of choice, because if I can get spread burns around on a lot of this team, he doesn't really have good answers for dealing with burns, so that's going to be the main objective of choice here. Obviously, running the speed actually just means I outspeed basically everything on his team, barring any choice Scarfers or barring like a speed boost on Caravana. But even with a speed boost on Caravana, I'd have to run Thunderfang, which means it's kind of somewhat troubled by a couple of other mons on my team, and we'll talk about that when we get there. Alright, next up on the team is gonna be KFC the Torchic, running heavy duty boots, more of a supportive Torchic set this week. I largely want this thing, again, to be a potential defogger in case hazards become a thing. With heavy duty boots and the bulk, I actually live quite a lot of hits in general. The speed is nice because it allows me to outspeed the majority of this team. Doesn't allow me to outspeed everything, but it pretty much allows me to outspeed most things outside of webs. Fire Blast is always a decent stab here because it actually hits a lot of this team. Can 2-hit KO most things, but Will-O-Wisp is going to be my move of choice here. If I can spread these burns around, we're in a decent spot. Obviously, this set is walled by Litwick. I'm fully aware of that, but after a speed boost, I outspeed everything on this team, so I'm not too concerned about it. But yeah, do need to be careful, but Will-O-Wisp and Defog, my main utility options of choice. Alright. Next up on the team is going to be my little Helioptile, running Choice Scarf with the Dry Skin ability, of course, providing me a water immunity to Caravana. Surf, Volt Switch, Parabolic Charge, and U-Turn. Feels a little bit weird to see U-Turn on here, but U-Turn actually does meaningful damage to Pawniard, so definitely worth grabbing hold of. Plus, U-Turn is nice on anything like Cubone, for example. Volt Switch is not really ideal when Cubone can freely switch in. So I do have Surf to hit it as well. Parabolic Charge is nice just to keep me that little bit healthier. So I debated running Glare on this thing, but given the fact this team is naturally slower than me, it's only really Archon that I would need to worry about with that, and Caravana, but Caravana has speed boost, so probably not likely to be sufficient. But yeah, this is fast enough to outspeed largely everything on this team. It would speed tie the Archon, but with my Scarf I outspeed it, so we are not too worried about that. We also straight up OHKO it with Surf or Parabolic Charge, so definitely a very solid option here. Next up on the team is going to be my more defensive mon of the week is going to be Little Chungus the Munchlax. Running a Violite and Thick Fat, this is largely going to be my switch in to Litwick most of the time if it comes. Curse, Rest, Body Slam, Earthquake. Body Slam plus Earthquake basically hits this entire team. There isn't really much that doesn't care about either of those, Archon being the only one. But after a few curses, even Archon doesn't want to take a Body Slam. Body Slam, very spammable, of course, against basically everything on the team except Litwick, but Litwick obviously does not take an Earthquake. So we're pretty reliant on Munchlax to be somewhat useful this week. Rest obviously allows us to deal with any Will-O-Wisps or anything like that. I debated on running immunity, but unfortunately, Munchlax doesn't get immunity. I thought it might have done, but it doesn't. Its base ability outside of Thick Fat is Pickup, bizarrely enough. I didn't actually know that at the time, but it is Pickup. But we do have Thick Fat or Gluttony as abilities. Thick Fat allows me to take the fire moves a lot better from Litwick, so I didn't see the need to run too much special bulk. Obviously, we're running a lot of physical bulk because most of its team is physically offensive. And last but by no means least on the team this week is going to be Chomper the Gibble. Running a special set this week. This is actually a very, very strong spread in general. This is incredibly bulky, but across these 3 moves, I either OHKO or 2-hit KO his entire team. So, Fire Blast OHKO's Pawniard from full. Scorching Sands actually can do a meaningful amount of 2-hit KO's Pawniard. Also can safely 2-hit KO Shanks even if it's a Violite. Obviously, Fire Blast OHKO's the Oddish. It 2-hit KOs the Oddish, actually. It can 2-hit KO Grubbin as well. Draco Meteor nukes most things on this team that's not named Igglybuff. So, this is a pretty spammable set. So, something I can definitely take advantage of. Obviously, a little slow, but the Rough Skin plus Berry Juice gives me the longevity. This is going to potentially be my lead, because I do want rocks up against him, especially to break any focus ashes, particularly things like the Grubbin and the Caravana and stuff like that. I could expect him safely to lead Grubbin for webs. I wouldn't be too surprised if he went down that route, or just Pawniard, something like that. But Gibble can lead against both of those, no problem, and just start hitting it like a truck. So that's going to be the aim for this week. I'm definitely looking forward to this. Let me know what you think about my team and what you would have brought. But either way, I'm going to hand it over to the battle, and I'll see you guys there. See you in a bit. Alright guys, we are connected with our good friend Nougat Boy. If you have skipped the team builder, that's what I'm bringing up there. If you want the full set breakdown and stuff like that, go back and watch the team builder at the start of this video. You can see the 6 I think he's bringing down below on the main screen. He can honestly bring any of these 6. His matchup is kind of rough either way, but we're going to accept the challenge. Good luck, Nougat Boy. Let's see what you brought for us. Ooh, a lot of what I didn't think would come. So, no Archon. Okay, so he has no removal on this team, unless I'm missing something. So, that's a good thing to note. So, I kind of just want to lead Gibble, honestly. Let's see. No Archon brings the Pancham. Okay, that's fine. Let's see, what else does he not bring? He doesn't bring the Grubbin, brings Oddish instead. I kind of thought he might have brought Oddish, but I was a little unsure. I felt like speed control was actually kind of good against my team. So, I probably would have brought the Grubbin. That brings Oddish. And what's the other one he doesn't bring? Bergmite, okay. Bring Shinx instead. Not really sure about Shinx. I don't think it has the move pool to really face this team, but we'll see. Well, I'm definitely not too surprised otherwise. I think the rest of his team makes a lot of sense. Let's go. Good luck, have fun in the chat. So, I kind of just want to lead Gibble. Gibble kind of beats this entire team, except Pancham. Although I can get a Scorching Sands and burn it, which would be really annoying for him. My other option here is just to lead Helioptile. I kind of answer most things on this team. So, could also lead the Grookey, but I kind of want to keep Grookey because I don't want to get him burned. I think leading Helioptile is not a bad option here. He has no immunities to my Volt Switch because he didn't bring Cubone. Yeah, I'm gonna lead Helioptile here as he leads the Pancham. Okay. So, I have a pretty free Volt Switch here. I could Volt Switch into Gibble. He might read that, though. How much am I doing to this Pancham? I'm gonna assume this isn't a Violet set. I'm doing about 30 to 40%. A Drain Punch would mark me. How much is he gonna do to Gibble? If he Ice Punches, he knocks me out. But he's also gonna take Rough Skin damage. But if he doesn't Ice Punch, we're in a pretty decent spot. He will outspeed me, though. I'm gonna Volt Switch, as he does stay in. We do 43%, so he is not a Violet. Yeah, he's not a Violet. Okay. So I have no idea what he is. I kind of want to go into Gibble anyway. Because he could be Berry Juice. Or I can go into Wingull, but I don't really want Wingull taking unnecessary damage. Because he could be banded. Let's go into Gibble. Let's go for Drain Punch. That did a lot. Holy crap. Are you banded? That did 69. Well, he could high roll if he's not banded. It didn't do enough damage to be banded, so there's a good chance he's Berry Juice. I just need to check, just to make sure. Yeah, I mean, he could have max rolled me. In which case, he is Berry Juice. If he has Ice Punch, I'm screwed. This is a hard play, honestly. I kind of would like to keep Gibble around. I don't feel like I want to lose it early. But I feel like you'd have Ice Punch. Which kind of makes me want to go into Torchic. Okay, let's go to Torchic. He does have the Ice Punch, so we do see it. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you serious? Oh, man. That sucks. Oh, that's not fun. That's super unfortunate. Does Drain Punch kill me now? So, it's a roll in my favor. We'll go for Willow. We're still frozen. Knock off. Okay, that's annoying. Oh, that sucks, dude. That freeze is so huge as well. And we're still frozen. Wow. Wow. Talk about bad luck. That's unfortunate. Torchic goes down. Not what I wanted. Definitely not what I wanted. I really liked Torchic in this matchup. So how do I get through this thing? Does Hurricane kill? Or Air Slash? It's a roll. We'll go Wingull. I feel like he has no reason to not go into Shinx here. Predict the Air Slash, so I could just Scald. Unless he has Thunder Punch. We'll go for the Air Slash. Yeah, I figured he would. Well, that's fine. We do good damage here. Alright, how much does Scald do to Shinx? Because we're faster. Scald kills. So we'll click it. Alright, and the Shinx goes down. The crit didn't matter. Alright, now here comes this thing. So he's gonna protect here. Does Grassy Glide one-shot this thing? It does, easily. So does Drain Punch. I'm actually gonna go on a Helioptile though. He does go for the protect. I don't know if he has anything that immediately kills me. I'm gonna click Parabolic Charge. He gets the protect off, so now he's faster, which is really annoying. Can he kill me with anything? Crunch. Crunch kills me. This is a problem. He does have it. Okay, that's kind of unfortunate. He is the Life Orb set. Alright. So we're in a bad spot now. We're in a really bad spot now. We'll go into Monkey. We know he's Life Orb, so he can protect all he wants. Yeah, he's just gone. Alright. No Rough Skin. Because of the speed boost, so... yeah. Bit unfortunate, but we traded pretty positive here. He should just go Litwick. Yeah, here's the Litwick. Let's go into Munchlax, because this was our dedicated answer. Flamethrower does nothing, as you can see. We can curse here. He does have Willow, as expected. So let's check a calc on Pancham, because he definitely brings that in here. Okay, we definitely live a Drain Punch, and that's even before we are +1. I'd like to curse again. He goes Oddish, actually. Is he gonna Strength Sap me? Okay, so now the Pancham should not be able to 2-hit KO me. I don't see a world where I just don't keep cursing here. I mean, yes, he could Strength Sap, which would be annoying. But he can't put me to sleep. Yeah, there's the Strength Sap, as we expected. Well, we are going to keep getting defense boosts here, so he can Strength Sap all he likes. It's not going to help him in the long run. Okay, we're just going to keep cursing. Because we net positive out of this with the defense boosts. What does more to Oddish? Body Slam or Earthquake? Body Slam. Okay, we'll go for Body Slam. Nice damage. No paralysis, but that's fine. Are you a Violate? We're +1. Did 33%. You are not a Violate. Interesting. So you're probably Berry Juice. Alright. I mean, I can stall him out of strength saps. So we can just keep doing this. I can do this all day, dude. I can do this all day. The other thing is my Wingull outspeeds his whole team now. So that's something. Pradius in my chat saying Little Chungus ain't going down anytime soon. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not. And this was like one of his biggest problems in this matchup, was that he had no real way to break through this. Sludge Bomb did a chunk. Okay, I'm gonna rest here. As he does go for Sludge Bomb again. We'll go for rest. Get our health back. So we are going to see him strength sap a couple of times, but that's fine. I'm not too unhappy about this. We'll curse again. Oh, he got a crit. Wow. Wow. You're getting a lot of luck here. Damn. That's like super unfortunate. Okay, you know what? Let's go into Gibble. Doesn't do a lot. But we can Fire Blast here. Like, what do you have as an answer for this? It doesn't kill, but it will do a lot. He goes into Pancham. Okay, we do connect. We get a crit back. Crit burn. Okay. Guess that kind of semi makes up for it, but not really. Does Ice Punch still kill me? We're at 70%. It does still kill me. Okay. Do I need Gibble anymore? I mean, it's nice for Pawniard. I mean, I can just sack this, go into Wingull. Because now we knew it was very juicing into Gone. So he's not got an item anymore. Let's go into Wingull. How much does Wingull do? Oh, Wingull just kills it, straight up. I just click Air Slash at that point. Okay, we're going to Scorching Sands. Oh, we're actually faster. Wow. Okay. Let's see. The Fire Blast crit did 48%, so he's max HP by the looks of it. Let's get rocks up then. Might as well. Yeah, eventually he's gonna kill me. So we got a lot of damage off. We sack off Gibble. Gibble actually did pretty well there. I'm actually kind of surprised. I didn't think Gibble would do so well. So I can go Monkey and click Drain Punch, but I think just going Wingull is better. I can just Air Slash here and not care. Yeah, Pancham is gone. Okay, here comes this thing. Does Sucker Punch kill me? Pawniard. It does not kill me. Scald doesn't kill him if he's a Violet, though. I would like to keep Wingull. Let's go into Munchlax, because I think Munchlax isn't going to do anything else here. We can also predict the Sucker Punch. Drain Punch will kill, that's guaranteed. Rock Polish. Cool set. I could just EQ on the off chance that he doesn't attack me here, but I think he Sucker Punches. Oh, he goes for knock. Okay. So he's definitely faster than me now. But does he kill Grookey? With anything? I don't think he does. No, he really doesn't. So we're gonna go Grookey. I could U-turn here, because I think he probably goes Litwick. Well, Drain Punch, though. He does actually stay in, which is great news for me. This is gone. And we are almost back at full. Okay, here comes the Litwick. So I'm definitely faster. Does knock kill. Because Wingull basically wins this game. So just want to make sure that knockoff kills. It doesn't, actually. But even if Grookey goes down here, Wingull just wins the game with Air Slash and Scald. So we'll go for knockoff. He's Culver Berry. That's a good set. So he's going to kill the Grookey. That's fine. But Wingull now just wins the game. So we're going to Scald here. Going to kill off the Litwick. Here comes the Oddish. Do I need Hurricane to win? I don't think I do. It's a roll if I don't click Hurricane. We'll go for it. Actually, we should definitely Slash. Yeah, we'll Air Slash. We don't actually connect, but that's fine. Giga Drain, it kills. Wow. GG. Actually sad. Sad at how much bad luck I got. But that's Pokemon. Oh, man. We got hard haxed out. That's all I can say there. It's unfortunate, but that is honestly the game. It's just one of those where it happens. This Little Cup especially, like when we got frozen on Torchic, that really cost us a lot. I don't think I played Gibble very well. Maybe I could have played Grookey better. Obviously, the Air Slash low rolled there. So that Air Slash would have killed on any other roll. So that's also unlucky. But again, I did have Hurricane. I should have clicked it. I didn't. So there's a lot of things to take away from this. But yeah, good games to Nougat Boy, dude. Definitely an unfortunate one for me. But it's a long season. There's 13 weeks to go, so this doesn't bother me at all. Typically, I tend to lose my week 1 match, funnily enough, as well. So interested to see that trend continue. But either way, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe. Stay awesome. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.